Welcome to the Go and microservices online training. This is going to be a 2-week extremely intensive course. Okay, where we are going to have about 2 hours of lectures, like classroom kind of training, and then about 8 hours of programming. Okay, so anyone of this training. Okay, the idea of this training is I don't want to teach you all how to learn. I'm not going to teach you all Go.
Gautam, I think the audio has stopped. We cannot hear anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. Is this a problem for everyone? Nobody can hear the video?
No, I also cannot.
I couldn't hear.
The audio drops.
So I'm sorry. You all are able to hear the audio, right? And see the video?
No. The audio
Now
dropped
we are.
off.
No, sir.
Okay, now you are. Hold on one sec. Let me know if this is audio. That is there for this. Can you hear the audio now? Learning Go process.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
I'll start the video all over again. Apologies. Welcome to the Go and microservices online training. This is going to be a 2-week extremely intensive course. Okay, where we are going to have about 2 hours of lectures, like classroom kind of training, and then about 8 hours of programming. Okay, so anyone who wants to log out just now can actually leave the meeting. Okay, since I know all of you are on mute, let me be very clear about this, that I don't expect anyone to work for more than 2 hours on this training, only during the part of this training. The idea of this training is I don't want to teach you all how to learn. I'm not going to teach you all Go. I'm going to teach you how to learn Go. Right? Again, just before I continue, if anybody has a question at any time, since I am seeing a presentation right now, I will not be able to see any chat since there's a recording going on. So if you have, unmute yourselves and just interrupt me anytime in mid-sentence to ask me a question, no problems. As part of this training, we will do entirely hands-on training. So the presentations that I have made are very, very trivial to a level where we are just keeping in check with what we have to learn. Right? These are the few resources which I expect you all to all have and know with you all. At all times, this is what we are going to work with. To tell you all exactly what this is, a tour of Go is effectively like a beginner's guide where you can go through all different kinds of syntax that is there for this entire learning Go process. That means I can look at any kind of thing that I want and I can go through this chapter by chapter. Very straightforward. Since we are all already advanced programmers, especially Ruby or Node or JavaScript or React programmers, We are all well versed with all the concepts of programming. I'm not going to go through that. The other one is where you want to actually just play around a little bit and just see, does this work or does that work? Simple things is called Go Play. And the third link here is the Bible. Effective Go is effectively your Bible, which tells you exactly all the nuances of how Go is used, why Go is used, where Go is used, how to write Go code, what works, what doesn't work, anything and everything you will find in this part. Right? Now, I'll give you maybe this is how we are going to structure our entire course. Maybe for the first 20 minutes, I will be giving you all gyan because I know that nobody has the patience to listen to me for more than 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we will take 10 minutes of planning for what we're going to do for the rest of the 1.5 hour. Okay, so I'm going to continue this. Basically, this is a section where I always explain why we need a new language. All of us have already learned one particular language in the past. Maybe Ruby, maybe Java, JavaScript, Node, whatever language, maybe .NET also. Any language that you picked comes under only these three categories. And just like most languages, either it will be easy to understand, readable, maintainable. On one side, it will have inter-process communication, which is strong, which will have compile time, runtime. One will be safety, security, type syntax. Now, I'm going to mention a few languages and you can find out what it is. If you have a question about what about this particular language, again, unmute yourself, ask a question, we'll discuss a few languages. Basically, type syntax means that you have type safety. This is not like languages like Python and Ruby and Perl, where you don't have types. You have no duck typing. These are languages like C, Java, where you have very specific data types and you cannot interchange them easily. Because you have all these type syntaxes, the other side of the IPC compilation runtime is where you have just-in-time compilation, scripts, or compiled code. And the last part is readable, maintainable learning, is where it's a language is easy to learn. I'm sure most of you will agree that C is not a language that is very easily learned, though it's probably one of the languages that we start programming with. A language should also, your code should be readable. I do remember taking a lot of Ruby courses earlier where I used to tell people that even my grandmother can read my code. I don't know if that's the case today or we even teach it like that, but the language should be in such a way that what you code is what you read, what you understand. And the language should be maintainable. By maintainable, it means that there are lots of different packages which are available. There are lots of different libraries which are available in open source, which is an ecosystem which is built. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, if you take any language, it will probably comply to 2 out of these 3. You take Java, I wouldn't put in under easily readable, maintainable part. It's not easy to learn. There are lots of nuances, but it has type security and it has inter-process communication. It is just-in-time compilation, but it is not for everyone. There's a lot learning curve in that. You take languages like Ruby and Python, they are definitely readable, maintainable, easy to learn, easy to pick up. They are scripts, so they are slow, and they don't have type safety. You pick up C, again will come in type syntax, as security is very good, it's fast, there is inter-process communication which is very good, but again C is not for everyone. Any language that you actually go to will probably have such kind of criteria. Now, needless to say, since we are doing Go programming, Go is one of the languages that actually goes through all these 3 and solves this problem. But still, that doesn't warrant a reason of why we actually need to have a completely new language. So here's a bit of history. Rob Pike, Robert Griesmer, and Ken Thompson. 3 people in the 90s who are as pro the late 70s. Got together in Google because Google was hiring all these big shots. And they were trying to solve a problem of large-scale deployment across the Go cloud servers. Across the Google cloud servers at that time. So in 2007, these 3 guys locked themselves in a room for about a year and figured out that no language today is trying, no software high-level language is trying to achieve Moore's law. Is somebody on unmute? Is there a question coming up? Thank you. So, just like I'm sure everyone knows what the Moore's law is. Who want to jog their memory? Moore's law states that every few years or every decade, I think, the CPU sizes become infinitely small and the cost becomes smaller and the processing becomes faster. So it's an exponential curve for faster processing. Hardware has been going in that particular direction. But today also, all the new languages still rely on the lowest level C. For example, if you look at Java, the Java runtime is built in C. If you look at Python or Ruby, the interpreters are written in C. If you look at .NET, they're all written in lower level C, Windows level C. So till now, we are still following the standards of the late 70s. What Rob Pike, Ken Thompson, and Robert Griesmer decided was that it was time for a high-level language to actually work with Moore's law and be as fast, readable, maintainable, secure as hardware. So think about this. If you are running your program on a machine which is maybe a dual CPU with whatever RAM and whatever memory and your processor, if you run the same program with the same architecture on a quad core machine, should it run twice as fast? In Go, chances are that it will, and that's why the reason that this language was picked. Now, to make an entire new language, it needed to ensure that it adheres to all the normal norms of programming of today's world. Which means that for Go to survive, it needs to pick out all the new languages that are there today. I'll give you all a moment to look at the screen and you'll realize that Go is inspired by languages which we all probably have either rarely heard of or hardly ever coded in. The closest a lot of us will probably come to C programming. For those who are really old, I don't think apart from me, has anyone coded in Pascal? Lisp. All these are languages. The silence says it all. So if somebody has worked in any of these languages, do unmute and let me know if you worked in any of these languages apart from C, Pascal, Lisp, and Go. Kirk, any insights from your side? Which languages have you actually worked in the older ones?
Yeah,
Pascal
I
and
was
Lisp.
just going to comment. Yeah, I've done Lisp, I've done Pascal. I even did a little Oberon back many years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so the running joke is that if you show this slide to anyone and if they actually are able to identify or relate with one of the languages, you can rest assured that they probably are really old. The joke's on us, Kirk. All right, back. I hope everyone's able to hear things clearly. Back to the presentation. Yeah, I thought so. Neither have I. These are all languages which are very old, going back to the 70s, coming back with a bang. That is what Go is all about. Now, but to put it very lightly, Go is like C programming on steroids. Now, what do I mean by this? Think of all the fears that you had in C programming. The biggest issue was वो pointers कभी समझता नहीं, memory leak होता है. Because there were memory leaks, people introduced a garbage collector which created problems in the higher level languages because of speed. Now, Go takes care of this without compromising too much on performance. Garbage collector, so you don't have to bother about any inbuilt memory leaks. Allocate, it will automatically free them. The other problem was inbuilt native data types. Like if you are trying to program in Java or in C++, you have standard template libraries in Java, and hash maps and arrays which are native data types. In C, you don't have all this. Go introduced maps, slices, and closures. We use closures for a living in Ruby. Every other day, the block that we call the block of code in Ruby is a closure. Even in JavaScript, when you write a function, you can always access local variables outside the anonymous function declaration. Those are all closures. In JavaScript, Ruby, these are all inherently supported. But Java did not support them as late as a few years ago when they introduced Java 8. Concurrency. Concurrency is one of the most misunderstood concepts in programming. And through the course of the next few days, we will understand why concurrency is important, how is it entirely different, and why we should embrace it and not be afraid of it. So along with trying to remove problems, add new basic constraints, Go also realized that the tooling is very important. It's not just enough for a language to have all the features. It is also important for the ecosystem to get fit. The first one pronounced as FUMT, Go FUMT, that is formatting. How many of us have faced a problem where Go code, when you write any code in any other language, somebody uses different types of indentation, maybe 2 spaces, maybe 1 tab, maybe 4 tabs, maybe 4 spaces for a tab, somebody expands tabs, then somebody puts a curly bracket in some places, somebody puts something else, and it's very difficult to read somebody else's code. In Go, you use Go Format and it will automatically format your code to a standard. Go Build is again building it. Go Get is you can get any of these Go packages from the remote repository on the internet. And Go Fix can even go and fix patches across. These are just 4 of the few tools. There are plenty of these tools being used everywhere in Go, and Go has a huge library ecosystem where we can actually take these packages, import them, and do a lot of stuff which is already available. So far, so good. I said that's the Gyan part. That's about 15 minutes of Gyan. What are we going to do next? This is the presentation that I had for today. That's it. We are now getting into planning out the breakout rooms, and we are all going to go and see how Go basic Go code is written. I would recommend all of you all to open this link, and I'm going to give you all a little bit of time to go to tour.golang.org, open it in your browser. And let me know if everyone is able to see all this information. What are packages? What are imports? What are exported name? Chances are that you will probably know a lot of these things. The one humble request that I have from all of you is that when you are trying to learn Go, do not try to compare it with the languages that you have already known. It is extremely important for us to try and learn Go on a clean slate. By that, I mean, you may say, hey, you know what, this is taking too much time, this is too long. I don't understand why we are doing this. I do all this code in 1 line of Ruby, or hey, I don't understand this particular syntax. There is a reason for everything. Ask and I shall answer. However, don't try and say, you know what, I think this is so easily done in another language, that's why it works. There are reasons behind everything that is there. Okay? Here is a very simple example. And just in this particular example, there are lots of things that we can understand about Go. Here are a few things that which will seem new to everyone. This particular Anuj, I'm giving you the onus that in case there's something wrong on my screen or that it's not visible or there's a screen freeze, please tell me to stop, interrupt me anytime, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So first and foremost, we look at assignments also. These assignments will be explained to you also while you are doing this programming. But there are different types of assignments. You will see that you have a function which gives a standard name, which takes parameters like this. This internally what I've highlighted, X and Y are both strings. So I could have written this like this also. But everyone has tour.go, I'm assuming, tour.golang.org on your screens right now, on your laptops, on your browsers. Okay? The intent of today is to build a game. I am not going to teach you all anything about any syntax. The idea is that you all keep Go tour with you all, maybe just go through the first part of packages, imports, export functions, whatever you all want. But the intent is to build a game, right? I am on the chat for everyone. I have pasted a gist. Please copy all the code from this gist onto your local machines, and within the hour we should have this program completely running. Can you all see my screen right now? Anuj?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Okay, good. This is how we need to play this game. Have you all played the game of Hangman before? Everyone? Anyone does not understand the game of Hangman? Unmute and tell me that I'll explain the game of Hangman before continuing.
I don't know about.
Okay, so I'll explain it then. Hangman is a game where I give you the number of characters. If you can see on my screen, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, 3, 6, 9-lettered word which we have to guess, and we have only 8 chances. You can guess either a letter or the word. So even I don't know this word, so I might have got it wrong. So I'm typing E. If E exists one or more times, it will appear. It will replace the underscore. The next guess I had was A, which did not appear, so I lost 1 chance, and it tells me my previous guesses. L, it comes in there. Anyone wants to guess a letter? Actually play this game with me. I don't know which word this is. O, P,
K.
D, what?
G.
N.
Which word is it, people? The interesting part about this final end result of this game is that you have to guess what I mean. Even you will enjoy playing the game.
You can see that this part is repeating these 4 lines. It tells me the placeholder, which are all underscores. I'm asking the user to guess a letter or the word itself. So that is also. So you can either guess the word or you can guess a letter, and it should fill in. Now the rule is that if any letter exists multiple times, it should fill in all the places. Okay? This is the game that we have to finish in 1 hour. This game, I'll explain very briefly what we have to fill in.
So I've paused the video for now. Any questions so far? Has everyone understood the game? Are there any other questions here? I hope everyone is comfortable with playing Hangman, or if you have not played Hangman before or built Hangman before, this will be a good exercise that you're getting into. The starting point is already in the chat. So it is a good time, if you have Go installed on your machines, to look at the copied link on the chat and actually play along hands-on with what is going on the video too. Okay? Any questions so far? All right, let's continue.
Gaps here. Do not try to directly build. Package is the same thing as a standard package in all languages where we name the package. Main must be exist in some particular language so that it knows where is the starting point of the entry point of the program. Import is as good as all other languages where we are importing different packages. These packages you will find on Golang itself. FMT or FOMT is very common for formatting. You can see a very standard FMT println, which is a very standard syntax everywhere. All right, we have a function main, and we have something like this. This is called a assignment and allocation at the same time. Go is very, very particular about the type assignment. So word forever will be a string. After this, if you try to just say word equal to 2, it will give you a compiling error, not a runtime error, a compiling error. What I want you all to do is, I want you all to create a lookup of entries. Lookup means a map. It should be a map of entries that the user has made. Placeholder is a list. That means it should be a slice or an array containing this underscore. In this infinite for loop, we are going to evaluate a win or a loss. This is the console that is going to be displayed. And this is the input that we are going to take. This compare and update entry is a logic that you will write for completing the game of Hangman. Any questions so far? So I'm going to copy the same contents and you can work in your favorite editor. And somebody is going to dictate to me how to go about this. Or do you all want to go through GoTour first for some time? I would recommend not going chapter by chapter. I would recommend skipping through a lot of these different packages, variables, skimming through them, going through all what different packages mean, trying to find out what it means, what it doesn't. And anytime you get stuck, you might want to ask me a question immediately. I will also get involved with that. So while part of asking a question, it also clarifies a lot of things for everyone else. Okay? Nice. Come across a few tidbits. You all can see the screen and I'll explain to you what it means by this, okay? Typically, any package that you import will always have the name of the package that you put in, and you can call an exported method from that particular name. Now, when I say exported methods, you can skip straight to the next one and see what are exported names. Anything that you have with a small case, small method name, small p, is going to be an internal method. You cannot call it directly. So it has to be a capital method, capital letter or title case, and that's the only way that the method will be exported. So just like any language has private and public, in Go, you have exported and unexported methods. All exported methods start with a capital letter.
One thing, I was confused in the swap method. So for the X string, Y string, those are the inputs, and the string which we have written, these are the return data types, right?
Yes. Good question. I was hoping somebody will ask me this. For everyone, Go is probably the only language which can give you multiple return native data types. So swap is a method which takes X and Y as string input parameters and returns two strings. This is different from returning a tuple in Python or an array from a method, because that is still a single data type. So Go is the only language which can have multiple method return types. Okay? No other language does it.
And is that mandatory to specify that return type too?
Yes, it is.
Okay. If we are having a multiple, or if I have a single return, then also it's mandatory.
Yep. It's always, everything is mandatory. Watch this. Okay. This will work like this. Can somebody tell me what is the error I will get?
People, this is a question for you all. Can somebody tell me what error we'll get?
B is not getting any value, I think. That will be the error.
Correct. All right. What's the interesting one? Good.
Yes, not syntax error. Why there is syntax error?
Parenthesis missing or not? Okay.
That's why I purposely did it. This error is going to say two variables, but swap returns only one value. What should I fix?
Okay, the input parameters.
Correct. What should I fix?
You can't assign the a comma b equal to swap.
Yeah, you need to remove one okay.
So far, so good?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's run it again. Now, what is the error?
B values. B
Fair
values.
enough?
Correct.
Now this works? Yes, it works. Okay? I'm adding one more syntax here, okay? Named returns. This is called a named return. Okay? And I'll say z equal to x. Just like you have return variables, string, I can also name those return variables. So I can use z for any processing, and when I return, z will get returned from here. Make sense? Concatenation of strings, no problem. What will be the output now? I've done x plus 12.
Type mismatch.
Correct. Data type mismatch. Cannot convert 12 type untyped number to type string. Okay?
People, are you all clear with this concept of in Go, you will get an error if there is a type mismatch for anything. Unlike languages like Ruby or JavaScript, which just try to do the best that they can, in Go, there is only one way and one way to do things right. If you all have a question, just interrupt me. I will pause the video and I'll clarify your questions right away. All right. Are we good so far?
Gautam, I have
Shall
one
we continue?
question. In this swap method,
Yes.
is this mandatory to write return statement at the end of function?
Yes. Otherwise, it will give you an error
Okay.
that this function is not returning anything. It's very particular.
Okay.
If the function expects you to return, like the main function here is not returning anything, you don't need to specify return. But if it is returning something, you have to explicitly mention return.
Okay.
Good question. Anything else? Okay, let's continue.
Gautam sir.
Yeah. Don't say sir.
Gautam.
That is also an instruction for everyone. Don't say sir.
If we don't do any calculation here, the line z equal to x plus 12, if we remove that,
Yes.
what will be the default value that will be returned?
Fantastic. What do you think it should be? You tell me.
0 values.
Yes. So it will be an empty string. So let's look at 0 values now that you asked for it. There is somewhere C, 0 values. So 0 values are 0 for numeric data types, false for bool, and empty string for strings.
Is there a concept of null here?
No. There is a nil. Concept of nil because you have pointers. Correct? So if you have a pointer data type, it will be nil. N-I-L. Let's look at that too. Pointers. Idhar gaya pointers. There it is. Now you asked for pointers. Here you come. Welcome to pointers. You can notice pointers look exactly like what we did in C. There is nothing different. %I is the address of I. Right? You remember that the biggest problem with pointers was arrow. Should it be? You remember these things? If it's a pointer, then you have to do this arrow or a dot. All that is gone in. Forget all that. No problem. Whether it's a pointer or not, always use a dot in Go. The compiler will automatically dereference properly. So वो भी problem नहीं है. So just use a dot. This is also a very interesting example of pointers, where you say P is pointing to I, so P is a pointer. And we can see that P will be an address and is pointing to the value of P. Star P, line number 9. The same concept. Okay, I'll go back to where we were. Where were we? Multiple returns. Then you have named returns. See this? XY as named returns. Okay. Keep going. Keep asking me questions. I'll tell you all 10 other things. For every one question, I'll give you 5 other pieces of information.
नॉर्मल जैसे सी में था वैसे स्कोप होगा ना ग्लोबल एंड द फंक्शनल स्कोप ऑफ वेरिएबल्स
Yes, you have globals and locals. You don't have the static and volatile and all that kind of stuff. Static, global, local, bus. Here's another interesting part here. On my screen, I'm on short variable declarations. Okay, there are 2 ways to declare variables in Go. One is like this, with a var. Okay. Sorry. Oops. This works too. If this was the case, it will give you the zero value of all these methods. I and j will be initialized to 0. So this is the way that I can initialize a variable of type int. Right? This is one way of doing it. After I do this, I can say I equal to 3. Okay. So just to make it easy, this is one line number 6 and 7. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
This is typical programming in C. Int I and then I equal to 3 or int I equal to 3. This is the shortcut of that one. Fair enough?
Yeah.
And line number 8 is the shorter version of all this also. There's a notice the difference between the equal to and the colon equal to. When I do a colon equal to, I'm telling it implicitly that k is going to be of type int. Okay. If I do this, k is now a float. And this will give me an error. See this? Most languages will allow this, correct? Line number 8 and 9?
Yes.
Most languages allow it because, yeah, we can figure this out. Don't worry about it. I know. But Go will give you these problems. Here is the good part and the bad part of Go. The good part is that if your program compiles, chances are that it will run always. The bad part is that Go tells you that there is only one way of doing things right. That means until you are able to satisfy the compiler with all the things, it will keep not working. It will force you to do it the right way and only one way. Right? So in this particular case, I will either have to typecast I and j, I and k, and this will work fine. Okay? Or I have to put this into the other cast. And that still doesn't work. Because it is mismatched type float 32 and float 64. Float 32 and float 64 are also different types. And this will work. Right? So at this point, let me also tell you, arey, kya correct time pe chal raha? Basic data types are next. Declaration and assignment. Okay. So initialization and assignment. Because it's in local scope, I'm allowed to do this. But if I try and do this here like this, this will not work. Because there is a parser which is trying to say, yaar, tere ko initialize and assign nahi kar sakta hai as a global variable. This one we will have to do as var l int equal to 2. Fair enough? So there are certain rules which have to be followed. There is no two ways about it. Good question. So the other interesting thing here is you will not find the char, char here in Go. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. You will not find the char, but you will find something called a rune. So rune is an interesting one which will keep transferring from. So like for example, let's show it to you here. This works. Remember, all the Rubyists, for you, single quote and double quote doesn't matter. Correct? See this, if I do %v, this is showing 97. Because 97 is the ASCII code of this rune A. And this is entirely different. This is going to go as string A.
What did I change? Can you all see this change?
Yeah.
Single quote and double quote इतना फर्क पड़ता है. Single quote is 97. But if I put a double quotes, it's a string. It's completely different data type in Go. It's a very common mistake. I have suffered plenty of times because of this. Your code doesn't compile and you keep banging ahead. यार मैं क्या गलती किया है? Because I have written a string somewhere. You know, something like this. A equal to. This doesn't work. So be very careful. Notice you will not find a float. You have to specify whether it's a float 32 or a float 64. You will find an int which you should try not to use, because ints are usually 32 bits. Okay, I hope you all know this concept. When you do size of int is effectively giving you the size of your operating system. So if you have 16-bit processor, size of int will be 16. 32-bit processor, just the size of int is 32. 64-bit processor, size of int is 64. So in Go, because they wanted to avoid this, you have various different int 8, 16, 32, 64 to be very, very clear what you need. Okay? A rune and a byte is entirely different. A byte is effectively 1 byte. So the byte will print the ASCII code of brace bracket 123. So if I do this as 97, it's a small a, I think. Yeah. Okay. A byte is always 8 bits. Notice this operator here also, people. What is it? Correct. Bit shift operator. If somebody can explain me how bit shifting works, I'll be very happy. I never use it. These are the complex things that happen, right? I'm joking, but again, you can notice assignments are always. Can somebody try and guess why this is not? You know why we don't do. This particular line number 9. Why does Go write this I int equal to 32 and not int I like C? There's a very interesting logic behind this too. And let me explain it with a nice complicated data structure. How do you read? This is the syntax for an array. We will see that up next, okay? How do you read this? Any takers on this part? How do you read it?
Why is array of
string?
All right. Y is array of string, and the first one, I.
It's a map which has key as a pointer to integer, and then the value is boolean, I think.
Fantastic. Well done. I'll continue this and you'll realize how easy it is to read. This is why the syntax is mentioned like this. Good job, people.
Array of string.
Correct. Array of string. Map of a pointer to integer, which is the key, and this is the boolean. The value is boolean. Okay. So what will this be? A map whose key is a string and a bool. Now, if you try and complicate this like this, what is this now? Can somebody tell me what is line number 10? What is Y?
Array pointer.
It's a pointer to an array or array of pointers?
No, it's a pointer to an array.
No, this is a pointer to an array. Pointer,
Okay.
just read it. Pointer
to an array of strings.
Okay.
Nice. So this is an array of string pointers. This makes our readability insanely easy. Start from left and just read it as is.
Okay.
Okay. This is a very complicated thing in C, because in C the biggest thing is if you want to confuse somebody in C, just ask them, is this an array of pointers or a pointer to an array? And people get stuck. Okay. So you will find things a lot easier if you write your letter first. So even structures are written like this. Okay. Something struct, name, string, age, int. This is how structures are written. Again, it's very easy to figure out something. Something is a structure whose name is a string, age is an int, likes is an array of string. Correct?
Yes.
Friends is a map. Key is a string. Value is a int. Okay? Okay. Keeping this in mind, just these two syntax, right? Let's try and build that program. Do you want me to share my screen and build it all together, or do you all want to try doing it on your own, or somebody dictate to me? Somebody wants.
I have a question for y'all here. Do you want it to be off the screen itself, or you all want to try it in parallel? People, should I continue the video? Do you all want to give it a shot on your own completely? We take like a 15-minute break and try to write the program, or should we do it together?
I think we should do it together.
Okay, then I'll just continue the video. Okay, I hope everyone is following and trying to understand what is happening. Even just unmute and ask me a question at any time. No issues. Okay, continuing.
Fill in the gaps here. How do I create entries? Entries is a map. Do you want to look up maps? Do you want to keep maps here somewhere? See this. Map of string which takes a value vertex. Anyone want to help me out how to write entries?
String. String.
This is the key. I need a value. I don't really care about the value, so I'll just keep it as a boolean for now. Okay. I could have also kept an int. I could keep anything else also. I could keep another string too. Right? Now here is the thing. This is what is this? The declaration for entries. Because I'm using this, I'm declaring it, and I also need to assign it. Switching screens again. Let's see what is the short way of assigning things here. See this. Can you all see my screen right now? This is the shorthand of initializing an array. Initializing a map of string and int. Okay. Fair enough. So can somebody help me initialize it also? I can leave it blank too. So this is fine.
Empty string or any Boolean value.
Correct.
Achha,
Not empty string. This is I'm declaring an empty map, which is going to take a key as a string and a boolean as the value. Fine. Fine. Okay.
Fine.
What about placeholder?
will be an
It's a list. So that's an array. So let's also look at arrays and slices here quickly. Arrays, just like array of 2 string. Very simple. Note the syntax also. Can anybody reading this code mistake this for anything other than an array of 2 strings?
No.
Because it's that explicit. A is an array of 2 string. Always read left to right.
size always.
An array has to have size. A primes is an array of 6 integers and it's initialized to 6 integers like this.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Okay.
Very simple here. Right, now we'll move to what they call as slices. Slices are dynamic arrays. Okay, slices are dynamic arrays. Now they are all chopping. You can have a, so this is an easy example of a slice. Line number 6. I have a slice of int, I'm initializing it to 6 and I can also go add to it, subtract from it, whatever I want. I cannot subtract from it, I can only append to it.
So if I don't initialize it and I just keep it as empty int and I initialize it later, it will take the size what I initialized it later, right? Just
Yes.
like the other.
Okay, good. Let's try it out. I completely understand your question. Okay,
Yeah.
right? And now I want to add something to this. I want to append something to it. So I say A equal to append A 2. And I will run this program. The first one was empty, second one was 2. Because I have used something called append. Okay?
Okay.
Now watch. 1, 2, 3. What should the output be?
It will be 4.
3. Second array 1, 2, 3, 2.
Very good. Okay?
Yes.
This is how we have to do it. And this is how we can initialize arrays. There are different concepts of arrays where you can define the length and the capacity. Okay? So if I want to find the length of an array, it is always the length. But capacity of the array is something different. The capacity of the array, because capacity of the slice will dynamically change. Okay? And I can manipulate anything just like an array. So in most cases of your code, you will always end up using slices. Did you see that? Just like how you manipulate elements in an array, you can manipulate elements in a slice. Okay? In most cases, this is how it will work. Fine?
Yes.
Now coming back to my program, somebody help me initialize the placeholder. And people, please speak along with this video too. It will be good to get some feedback from the team here. What?
What did you mean by most cases?
One sec, hold on. Let me get back. Get me a question exactly.
You said that slices will work in most cases in the format that you give.
Okay.
You said that they will work in most cases.
So in this particular format that is specified on the screen, right?
In that
So
append
you will
thing.
actually, as part of the recap, you will see tomorrow how slices are not like arrays. Slices are different from arrays, and slices are like a peek into an array. So there are chances that there is reallocation of a slice, but the array remains the same. This is an interesting part that we actually look at tomorrow, and this is a question which gets answered on it too. So I'm going to hold on to that suspense because it's a very interesting question. Slices work almost always like arrays. However, when there is a reallocation or dynamic increase in length, sometimes it takes a different turn. It is for our knowledge. You will realize it tomorrow, and after all the practice that we've done today, things will get clear tomorrow also, and it will be part of a recap. So stay tuned on that one. Okay, good. And while the rest of the program is going on, feel free, any one of you all, to actually start chipping into the program itself as if we are doing it live. Doesn't matter. At least we'll get onto the right things, or I'll pause the video and we'll discuss. Okay.
Cannot subtract from it. I can only append to it.
So if I don't initialize it and I just keep it as empty int and I initialize it later, it will take the size what I will initialize it later, right? Just
Yes.
like
Okay, good. Let's try it out.
Oh,
I completely
did I
understand your
go
question.
back a lot?
Okay,
yeah.
right? And now I want to add something to this. I want to append something to it. So I say A equal to append A2. And I will run this program. The first one was empty. Second one was 2. Because I have used something called append. Okay?
Okay.
Now watch. 1, 2, 3. What should the output be?
It will be 4.
3. Second array 1, 2, 3, 2.
Very good. Okay?
Yes.
This is how we have to do it. And this is how we can initialize arrays. There are different concepts of arrays where you can define the length and the capacity. Okay? So if I want to find the length of an array, it is always the length. But capacity of the array is something different. The capacity of the array, because capacity of the slice will dynamically change. Okay? And I can manipulate anything just like an array. So in most cases of your code, you will always end up using slices. Did you see that? Just like how you manipulate elements in an array, you can manipulate elements in a slice. Okay? In most cases, this is how it will work. Fine?
Yes.
Now coming back to my program, somebody help me initialize the placeholder. Should it be an array? What should a placeholder be? What is my word? What is my word? Elephant. ELEPHANT. So that's 3, 6, 8. So I want a placeholder of exactly 8. An array can only be statically defined. That means when I define it, it has to have that number. But in my case, the word will keep changing. Abhi to simple hai testing ke liye, so I can always do this. क्या बोलूं आगे?
String.
String of
Empty.
Empty नहीं है, underscore डाला है मैंने.
Underscore.
Correct? कितना हो गया? 6,
6.
8 हो गया. This is one way of doing it. But would this be the right way of doing it? Because tomorrow I might definitely have different words. So my problem is, if I make this into a cat, I have to go changing my everything in my code.
You need to get the length of the word and then append it to the slice.
Fantastic. Now, how do we do that? Tell me.
First,
First, what did you say? Get length of the word.
Word not length.
No.
Length of
Ruby nahi hai.
word. Length of word.
This is length of word.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a common method. So
Yes.
Okay.
Inbuilt method. Length. You'll notice that the change color changed. So.
Yeah.
So what did you say? Get the length of the word. I got it. Then.
Yeah. And then initially slice placeholder and then append empty underscore to it.
Initialize slice with each element as correct. और उसके लिए मेरे को कुछ ना कुछ तो प्लेस होल्डर को इनिशियलाइज करना पड़ेगा. 8 is hard coded.
Empty slice.
Very well said. Empty slice. Because I don't know why. It's a dynamic length. Moment you know it's a dynamic length, empty slice. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now what?
Now push the underscores to it to the slice.
Very good. How?
Till the length.
Correct.
And we need to iterate. Yeah.
So iteration. So let's see iteration. You can see there's already a for loop there. Let's quickly go and see what a for loop looks like here. अरे ये तो सी जैसा दिख रहा है मेरे को. Correct?
Yes.
Fantastic. So let's do this. For, notice I don't have to even put the curly bracket at all. I equal to 0. I less than
Length of word.
I plus plus. Then
Append.
Append. Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Wrong.
ये placeholder को reassign करना पड़ेगा वो.
Correct. Why did I did? This is a very common mistake. Okay. अच्छा इधर मैं अभी कोलन डालूं कि इक्वल टू डालूं?
Equal.
Equal to.
कोलन क्यों नहीं?
Placeholder.
Correct, because already declared. ये I को क्या है ये? स्टे सीन क्यों डिक्लेयर किया मैं इधर?
Local.
Not local. I is part of only this scope. Wait, I is only in this scope. It's not even a local variable, which means let's try this out. Okay. And this is how you all can try out in Go Play also. It's very easy to try these things out here. Can you all see my code?
Yes.
Let's run it and see. Does it work?
Only find word. Okay.
That looks good.
Yes.
Okay. Quick question. Will this work?
No.
Why not? Isn't I a local variable?
Within this whole loop. Only.
Correct. I का scope is only within the scope of this for, right?
Yes.
Now it will work.
Right? But what is the value of I?
9.
Correct. So far, so good. Remember the scope. So far, I like the code that we have. We have entries. Now we have a placeholder. ठीक है? Evaluate a loss. How do I evaluate a loss? How do I define number of chances? Let's say it's 8. Okay, so tell me what?
chances colon equal to 8.
ये infinite for loop है. So what do you say? Chances colon equal to 8. So it's going to get reset on every iteration, na?
Outside the for loop.
Okay. Chances 8.
This is minus. Oh gosh. What is not there?
First, we need a conditional statement to see that that is a wrong guess.
Correct.
Yes.
So what is the condition that I have lost?
The character which user has entered is not present in the word.
No, that I just lose one chance. I'm saying I have lost the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was.
If chances are 0,
If chances
chances are 0. Word is not equal. Placeholder is not equal to word.
placeholder
Not equal to word.
then
Word is string, right?
then what?
No.
Word is a string and placeholder is an array.
Good. कैसा चलेगा?
We need to.
Concatenate.
Yeah,
Array.
Concatenate the array. Good. This is how we look it up now. This is why I was waiting for somebody to say this. ये हो गया देखो. Golang packages. What do I want to do? Concatenate. Certain things we already know. Please notice that I have not Googled and Stack Overflowed these things, okay? Go to the documentation, packages documentation. You will find everything to do with strings here. What do I want to do? Concatenate. Can somebody see concatenate? कुछ दिख रहा है क्या इधर? Join. Join concatenate the elements of its argument to create a single string.
Instead of comma, we can do addition.
Correct?
yes.
What does it return? It takes an array of strings, takes a separator and returns a string. All right. So tell me. People, don't just keep seeing a video. If anyone has an idea, say it loud so we can actually see what's happening here, okay?
User input is equal.
Sorry, what?
Something like user input or user entered word is equal to join placeholder with empty string.
Strings.join. Very important, because join is part of which package?
Strings package.
Strings. So don't forget this part.
Import.
Okay. So it's join what? Placeholder.
Folder on empty.
Okay. And now I compare user input.
User.
Okay. Good. Some of the tools that you will use are strings already there. ठीक है. So this is how we evaluated all output. What am I going to do? चलो हार गया तो हार गया. Break. उसके पहले कुछ तो लिख दूँ क्या?
हाँ. Give more.
Try again.
Okay. Good. This is a loss. How do I evaluate a win?
Chances greater than 0.
I'm just copying the 4 lines. Okay.
Less than.
You don't have to compare chance. Even if you compare word, it's okay, right? Yeah. user input equal to what, then
बोलो क्या करूं इधर?
user input equal to what?
Okay.
Yes.
So far so good. Okay. Then what? I want to render the placeholder. ट्राई करेंगे इधर क्या है? ऐसा ही दिखाने का क्या मेरे को? That actually helps me out ना println. ऐसा ही दिखाने का ना? हाँ तो println placeholder कर देंगे.
नहीं बट यूजर का इनपुट रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा ना.
आगे इनपुट आगे ले रहे हैं ना इधर. Take the input below.
Okay. This is the first part.
First time. Now showing the console. Now I have to render the chances left. Now what? Printf. %d standard C style. Huh?
Chances minus.
Chances.
Minus.
What does that even mean?
अभी chances डिक्रीमेंट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. अभी सिर्फ
अगर कैरेक्टर नहीं प्रेजेंट तब करना पड़ेगा ना डिक्रीमेंट.
हाँ ऊपर.
Did you notice the formatting automatically happens?
Yeah.
Okay, so chances हो गया. अभी क्या दिखाने का मेरे को next?
Show the letters for the words listed down. Okay.
Have I saved them somewhere?
No.
Entries. I will save them. Compare and update entries. तो अभी जो कुछ भी entries है मेरे को entries दिखाने का है. कैसा दिखाऊं?
लूप करना पड़ेगा.
एंट्रीज की की को ज्वाइन करना पड़ेगा.
ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं.
क्या करने का? कीज को ज्वाइन करने का. Let's try some stunts here. Tell me something.
I have one question Gautam.
हाँ बोलना.
हमने एंट्रीज को मैप क्यों बनाया? हम एरो ही बना सकते थे ना यूजर के एंट्रीज का.
No problem. बनाओ.
क्योंकि boolean we are not using I guess.
Correct.
पर मयूर
हाँ.
पर एक सिनेरियो ऐसा है कि हमें लूप को करना पड़ेगा कि ऑलरेडी एंटर्ड है क्या ये. मान लो कि फर्स्ट स्टेप में तूने ए एंटर किया लेकिन चांस में तू बाद में फिर से ए एंटर कर सकती है ना. तो लूप को प्रीवियस कैरेक्टर लूकअप के लिए इजी हो इसलिए मैप हुआ है.
अच्छा. ओके. बट वो एरे में भी तो हम चेक कर सकते थे ना कि एरे में ये प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं. तो
इटरेट करना पड़ेगा.
Correct. Let's try it that way. No problem.
अच्छा इक्वेशन बढ़ जाएगा कि बिकॉज़ वी डोंट हैव द की डायरेक्टली.
That's why I thought lookup might be easy because I just want to see अरे इसने एंट्री किया है कि नहीं, इसलिए map lookup. And then it's also interesting because now we get to use a map and an array.
Okay,
Got it? But now this creates a problem where you have rightly mentioned. So what is the solution to this? Let's try some concept. Okay. There are easy ways. Entries equal to map string bool. Okay. Interestingly, let's try this out. E true. Is everyone with me?
yes.
ये ऐसा आता है E true. ठीक है. Why not make this a empty string? Then we can just print this like this, correct? और फिर ये ऐसा दिखेगा, ये ऐसा दिखेगा.
दो कीज आएंगे ना तो प्रॉब्लम होगा.
करेक्ट. दो कीज कैसे आएंगे? क्यों?
अच्छा,
कॉमा आएगा ना, आना होता है.
कॉमा आएगा.
हाँ, तो ऐसा दिखेगा. बट दिस डजंट लुक प्रोग्रामर जैसा नहीं दिखता ना, ये शॉर्टकट मारते ना. So let's keep this only. Fair enough? Mayuri, make sense?
Yes.
And this value is really not important for me, but the lookup is. If I keep this every time, I have to keep iterating the array, and it's not fun. So now what do? If I do this, it's going to look like this. So how do I get the keys?
There must be a function.
Correct. This is where I was coming to. I want to get keys of what? Map. Right? Now, this is the big thing that we learn in Go. That there are a lot of things that you have to do yourself. There are no generics. Map.keys, string, array dot reverse. Kuch nahi hai. There are no generics in Go. So we have no option but to iterate over that map. Okay? The reason I'm going to go to is because there is one interesting method that you will see when you are trying to iterate. Range. A very interesting one. I can range over a slice or a map. Okay? Here POW, power, is a slice of integers. I can range over it like this, just like for I in. Ruby में होता है ना? For I in something something slice or array, right? For k dot k value in, even in JavaScript you have the same thing. Similarly, we use the range keyword here.
You don't have to define the length now. Then.
Correct, because otherwise you have to do length dot. So I could have also done this. Could I have ranged over word? No, because a range will work only for a slice or a map.
Okay, not over a strip.
Yep. Right. So let's range over it and get those entries there. Where are we just now? Here. For again, वो देखो बाबा क्या है उसका syntax. I is the index, V is the value, and when I'm iterating over a map, I think you get the key value. Let's see. For I, मालूम है, सबको मालूम होना पर over placeholder. ये देखो, this is the beauty of Go. It has given me a compiling error that entries is declared but not used. अभी कुछ फर्क पड़ता है क्या यूज नहीं हुआ तो? Is it impacting the program?
No.
But I will still get a compiling error. It is that strict. साला तेरे को यूज नहीं करने का तो डिक्लेयर क्यों किया? Okay? I told you.
Memory related warning है ये, मतलब basically memory allocate कर रहे हो but use नहीं कर रहे.
But ये warning नहीं है, error है.
Okay.
That's the beauty of Go. You bloody well do it. If you declare a variable, you should use it. आ गया println 0 to 7 and this underscore. Okay. Fair enough so far, so good?
Yes.
Now I'll change this to entries. Now it's printed both the key and the value. So when you are iterating an array, this I is the index and V is the value. When you are arranging a map, this becomes, the first one becomes the key, second one becomes the value. Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, so now I want only the keys. What do I do? I don't care about the value. When I don't care about a value, I just use the underscore. I don't care about v. This will work because if I do this and just print I, it will give me a
Error again. Okay.
v has been declared but not used. So because I want to ignore it, I will use the underscore. Okay.
Yes. And same goes if I want to use the value and not the key.
Exactly.
Okay.
So same thing like this. Okay.
Yes.
So in this case, I want the key. Does this work? That's what I need. E and F, right?
Right.
But I'm printing it. So what do I need it inside something? I need it inside. What do I do? I want it as a string, na? Or I want it as an array, whatever. Somebody?
String, I think.
Anyone? Done? मिल गया मेरे को? Should we do it?
Yes.
Okay. Copy. Paste. So far, so good.
Yes.
Do you think our program will actually work right now?
And just display the first initialization.
Can it work right now? Because user input is not going to work, right? So we can display what the initialization, right? So we'll display the initialization. Let's fix that. Anyone? Cannot use keys type string array as type string in argument to printf.
Println.
So what should I do to fix it if I want printf?
Println.
Then I can do this. What do I, if I want to use printf, what do I do? Printf has to take a format specifier. Correct? Like this. Understood? People?
Okay.
Yes.
So I can do go build and run hangman. Correct? Looking good? Or I can do go run hangman dot go. Okay? So now I'm giving you all a moment. I'm going to keep this code open here. I want you all to actually write all this into your own machine, preferably on your own. And if you need reference, look at this.
मेरे डाउट था रिगार्ड टू फॉर लूप की जो अपन अभी जो अपना शॉर्ट हैंड सिंटैक्स से हम असाइन करते हैं तो उसमें ऐसा था कि जो कंडीशन वाला अपना पैरामीटर है उसके अंदर हम लेंथ को बार-बार कॉल कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे राइट
यस
तो कंपाइलर इज स्मार्ट इनफ कि वो उसको
ऑप्टिमाइज करता है यस इट विल ऑप्टिमाइज डेफिनेटली
ओके और दूसरी चीज मैंने एक चीज नोटिस की अपेंड यहाँ पे सॉर्ट ऑफ फंक्शनल ना मतलब प्योर फंक्शन की तरह बिहेव कर रहा है तो गो इस टाइप का पैटर्न मतलब वो करता है क्या प्रमोट करता है क्या
नहीं इट्स नॉट अ पैटर्न so append the idea of appending to a slice is so useful it's captured by the append built-in function so there are certain functions which are built in which you cannot override and these built-in functions like len
append, make. These are all the built-in functions which are there. So we have reached a case where we've been able to initialize the entries, placeholder, initialize the equal to, evaluate this condition, but we have not, and print things on console, but we have still not taken the input and compared the core method of the value, validation check.
I had one question that we use two parameters. That is, one is the length and another one is the maximum threshold.
Yes, capacity.
Yeah. So what's the difference between this, the length and the threshold? मतलब अगर एक पॉइंट के बाद लेट्स टेक कि हमारा थ्रेशोल्ड 5 है, अगर 5 के बाद अगर मेमोरी डबल होने वाली है एंड इट इज असाइनिंग टू some other memory location, so why not to use one instead of using two?
Okay, let me also explain this to the others. The make, this is the other way of doing it. In this particular syntax, you are making a slice of strings with a particular length and a particular capacity. The reason you have the capacity is so that you're optimizing your memory. For example, if you have our participation, we don't exactly know how many participants are going to come every day. So we will assign a slice of, say, 10. So when the 11th one comes, should we allocate one more memory space? Should we allocate 1 million more? Should we allocate 20 or 15? Was an internal decision which Go takes of just doubling your length. And as you keep doubling this length, it is just easy for them to maintain an exponential capacity. That's why, Kamal, you don't actually have to explicitly specify the capacity, but your capacity cannot be less than the length. Right?
Okay.
Now,
my question,
if you increase your length beyond the capacity, your capacity will automatically increase. I did not say double. I said it will increase. Traditionally, or as part of your language syntax, it usually doubles. But this is again an internal concept of make. Tomorrow, for optimization reasons, if they decide to make it triple or half, so be it. So you cannot rely on ensuring that the capacity is always going to double. What you will get guaranteed is your capacity will increase for the slice. Okay? Does that last bit answer your question? That if you know it's going to double, why don't I just declare half the length?
मतलब मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि अगर हम लेंथ से अगर we can do that thing instead of using capacity, तो why we use capacity? Because अगर हम length को हम consider करते हैं, this would be the our final capacity. So in case अगर कोई नया element आता है, तो we can extend our memory based on the algorithm.
So why do you want your length and capacity, right? So there are nuances people take for optimization. For example, if I know that my capacity is never going to be more than 50 and never less than 40, I can very easily keep the length as 40 and capacity as 50. I optimize my memory. Fair enough. So it's just an additional configuration that you can give the language to ensure that you can manage the length and the capacity of the slice. Fair enough. Any last questions that somebody has? So tomorrow's plan is going to be as such. Tomorrow again we will have a little bit of initial introduction. We will recap a little bit of what we've learned today. Tomorrow the target would be to complete this existing game as is in whichever format. Then we'll move to part 2 of Hangman, where we'll make dynamic words. That means the word currently is elephant. We'll make dynamic words on it and we'll get random words. Third part will be to concentrate on how we test it out, where we'll also get into a little bit of interfaces and stuff. Okay? Yeah. All right. People, it was fun. I hope it was fun today. Floor open for questions.
Okay, the floor is actually open for questions now. Was this any questions so far? I know it's been a video playing. I know you may have a few questions. Was it understandable? You can unmute, everyone can unmute, and now we can talk.
How do you take user input?
Scanl. Just like you saw println, there is scanln. We'll be
Okay.
seeing that tomorrow when we do the program. Okay, and if you are
Okay.
interested, FMT package, form package has scanln in it, so you can proceed. Any other questions or any doubts among
Okay.
anything that you all saw today? Okay. On the chat, I have pasted the gist. I would very strongly recommend that you use this gist and try to build the program as we discussed today. Okay. Soon the recording will also come out. I will send you all the link for the recording also, so you all can use it as a reference. But given how much you all have understood today, it might help you all write this program, and we will continue from where this video has left off tomorrow. Okay. Any doubts, questions? Okay. Hold on.